Hello, everyone. My name is Maxime Sigouin. This podcast was created to help you live your life to your fullest potential. Let me introduce myself. I am a coach, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and the world's #1 whole food, plant-based body recomposition expert. From supporting and losing family members through cancer, including my ex-partner, from sleeping in my car and being $60K in debt, I turned my life around in 1 year and rebuilt myself completely while building multiple successful multi-six-figure companies. Throughout the years, I've built a solid foundation through health and fitness that has allowed me to level up in other areas of my life, including health, relationship, family, and business. Through those ventures, I've been able to help over 600 people from around the world completely level up their mindset and get in best shape of their life on a plant-based lifestyle. I wish this podcast to be of service on your journey. Enjoy the episode. All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Maxime Sigouin Show. So today we're going to talk about the reason why you can't is the reason why you should. So I was reading some books yesterday, and a quote came up that I thought was very interesting because it's kind of how I've been living my life for a long time, which is when you change the way that you look at something, the thing that you look at changes. But, physically, if you think of that, it's the same thing that you're looking at. But when you change that, it gives you a different perspective on it. So when life throws you curveballs, it throws you different scenarios. You can choose to see it as like, dang, why is this always happening to me? To like, great, this is happening for me. It's giving me an opportunity to become better and to become stronger in that specific area. So there's two types of people in this world. The ones that are taking it as like, damn, why is this falling on my shoulder? And the ones that are like, yes, an opportunity for me to improve. And I wasn't always someone who was like, yes, an opportunity for me to improve. I was definitely someone that like beat himself down very early on in my life. But then eventually I shifted because I understood that in order for me to become better and a better version of myself, I had to take these opportunities, these challenges / opportunities as ways for me to improve myself in a specific area that they showed up in. And so it's very challenging and confronting to do that, but there's so much value in that because as you guys know, I have a coaching practice called Fit Vegan. I have two other companies called Buff Vegan and Fit Rich Life Mastermind, where we teach members to, in one of them, to build muscle and thrive on a vegan diet. Our Fit Vegan is more of a holistic fat loss, more lifestyle upgrade and changes on a plant-based lifestyle. And then Fit Rich Life is more of a fitness and a money mastermind, something that I wish I had growing up when I was younger, because no one taught us how to handle our finances. No one taught us how to get in shape. And so it's a really fun opportunity to work with these members. And so ultimately what I see across the board with a lot of people is before they join into the programs, and the people that don't end up joining our program, is they have specific reasons as why they can't do it. So for example, their job is really busy. They travel all the time. So they don't have time to take on a fat loss and self-improvement program because they're traveling all the time because of their work. Or they have kids and they're really busy, and that's why they can't necessarily cook healthy food for them because they're cooking for the whole family. Or because they have kids, they don't have time to work out because they're spending all their time with them. So all these three reasons are the exact reason why these people should do it. Because listen, if you travel for work, and you travel often, guess what? That's probably not going to stop until you either leave this job or get fired, right? Which I don't think you plan on doing either of those. And so you need to be able to handle your health and your fitness while doing that. So many people wait for a specific stage of life to be done to start working on something. But the reality is that when that stage of your life is done, for example, career, you'll probably be a lot older. And how do you want to feel when you're not older? Do you want to be severely overweight with your joints hurting and your body not feeling great? Or do you want to feel good when you get there? And it's possible because we have members in our coaching program that are 50, 60, 70, doing animal flows and squatting, taking ice baths and cold showers. And then got people in their 40s telling me they can't work out because they don't have time. They're not feeling that great. I got people thinking 70s taking cold shower, doing animal flows and squatting. Right. So the age has nothing to do, it just has to do with the choice that you're making. And so the reason why they're saying they can't do it is the reason why they should do it, because they're not going to stop traveling for a while if that's a part of their job. And so they should learn to stay in shape while they're doing that. If you have kids, you can't cook necessarily healthy food for you because you have to cook food for the whole family. Well, guess what? Your kids are going to eat whatever you're cooking, right? That's how my mom functions. Your kids are going to eat whatever you're cooking. And so if my mom was to eat shit food, guess what? We would have ate shit food. If my mom ate healthy food, guess what? We ate healthy food. And I'm blessed that my mom made healthy food for us. But that's simply how it is. And so your kids are the reason why you should make healthy food, because you're not only fueling yourself, but you're fueling them and their future, and also your partner. Again, I don't want to make the assumption that the woman is always the one cooking, but just typically with who I work for members, it tends to be the case. Men tend to be a little bit lazier in the kitchen, right? Just putting that out there. So that's the reason why you should be cooking, because they're all going to benefit from you doing that. If you can't work out because you have kids and you don't have the time, your kids are the exact reason why you should be working out. Listen, right now you might be tight on time, but guess what? Do you want to wait until they're moved out of the house and then you're like 40, 50 pounds overweight and then you're going to start working out? Guess what? It's going to be as hard for you to start then as it is now. You won't have more motivation when the kids are gone than when you have right now. So you better to build this momentum now, especially if you want to be able to live a really long time, to be able to see them graduate, get married, and to have grandchildren, right? So you need to take care of yourself. So I want you to analyze this for yourself. What is the reason why you haven't taken on a big project that you're passionate about? What is the real reason why you haven't taken on becoming healthier or becoming fitter, right? Most people don't make decisions and don't move forward because of two specific fears. Fears that they won't be good enough, so that if they start, they will fail, and that they won't be loved. That if they try this thing and it doesn't work, that they won't be loved by the people around them, right? We, as a person, we've grown into tribes. So tribes is AKA society nowadays, where we want to feel accepted. And so if you're fear that you're not going to be loved and that you're going to fail, and it's going to make you feel not good enough, most people won't take action. But ultimately, the people that have success in their life are able to move forward regardless of these two things, because they understand that, like, hey, if I try this thing and it doesn't work, it doesn't mean that I suck. It just means that I don't have the current skill set necessary to accomplish this thing. So that's an opportunity for me to improve and conquer this thing. All the people that you look up to in every area of life, whether it's the relationship that they have, their partner, with their family, in their business, in their health, whatever, finances, whatever it may be, they all sucked at it at one point. No one was born great at doing all of these things. They all had to get better at it, seize the opportunities that are presented themselves for them to improve. Right. So I just wanted to put that out there, because that comes from shifting how you look at the thing. So you don't have time to work out because of your kids. Well, you should work out so that you can enjoy more of your time with your kids now and in the future. Right. So it's simply about how you shift it. You always have the opportunity to control every single scenario around you. You don't control the event that come to you all the time, but you get to choose how you look at it, and you get to choose how you respond to it. Right. It comes down to the E plus R equals O equation: event plus response equal outcome. So you're presented with an event that you don't have time because of this and this. Well, what outcome would you like? What's the most ideal outcome you would like to create for yourself out of these events happening? Would you like to not be 40 pounds overweight? Would you like to feel healthy and not have to rely on caffeine and energy drinks to be healthier? Would you like to not be as stressed? Yes. Okay, well, great. We have an ideal outcome that we want, and we have the current event situation that you're dealing with. Well, what needs to be our response to this event to create this outcome? That's in your power. You get to choose how you respond to it. Not responding is also a response. So being like, well, I can't do it, so I'm just going to sit still and not do anything. Guess what? That is a response. You're choosing to not do anything. Not doing anything is a very strong response, right? And again, that is your power. That is your choice. You have to own up to it. So I don't know for you, but I don't like to be in the same place from year to year. Right? When New Year's come, I don't want to be in the same place that I was the year before or the year before. I always want to be slightly further ahead, right? And there's different levels to this game, and you stop wherever you want. So I'll just share this quick analogy to kind of explain how those opportunities or challenges are a great thing and how you can conquer them. So I personally like to view life as a video game. And I don't know why, because I don't like video games, right? I'm not a video game person. I haven't played since I was like 8 years old. But the concept of the video game is what I connect with. So I did remember when I played like Donkey Kong way back in the day, whatever those games were, where there was levels to the game until you got to the big boss at the end, and then you could win the game. So the difference in life is that there's no big boss, there's no end. You choose what level you want to stay at. So everyone wants different things in their life. Some people want a 9 to 5 job and they just want a quiet life. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful. That's a level that they're going to stop at. Some people want to make millions of dollars, and that's the level that they're going to stop at. Some people are like me, want to change the whole freaking world. I want to help the world disease-proof their body. Well, guess what? I'm going to have to go through a lot more levels than where I'm at right now to be able to get to that place. And there's never going to necessarily be an end level to it because there's going to be always going to be new people born. So I'm always going to want to impact more people. So we all have different drives as to how we want to live our lives, and there's nothing wrong with any of them. It's a personal choice because we get one life on this earth, and it's our own choice as to how we want to live that. So going back to the video game analogy, you start level 1. Usually it's pretty easy, right? You smash some trees, eat some bananas, whatever, maybe Donkey Kong. So you get to a level, and then there starts to be bigger challenges, certain people that you have to confront and deal with. And then guess what happens? You get to a level where you kind of get stuck. And then this level tends to be harder to hit. And then you die in the video game, and then they revive you at the beginning of that specific level so you can take it again. But guess what? You already went through it once. So you had the opportunity to kind of learn the path and the patterns and kind of how to get to the end part. Now you're just struggling with the end part. But guess what? Every time you die or you fail in real life, you just go back to that beginning level. You know the path, you know the pattern. But then the more often you go through that challenge, eventually you learn its own pattern to conquer it. You get the skills or the knowledge necessary to conquer it. And then once you conquer it, bam, now you're at the next level. Now, every time you die, you can't revert back to the old one. You go back to the beginning of this new one. So if you just conquered level 4, now you're at level 5. So if ever you fail at level 5, you just go back at the beginning of level 5. You don't go all the way back down to level 1 because you have the knowledge. Your mind has been expanded. The skills are there. That's why I'm such a big fan of one investing in themselves. That's why I invest so much in myself, because if you were to take everything away from me, I know how to rebuild it, right? And I've done it with the other companies. So like, I know that I can rebuild it because I've learned the skills and my mind has expanded. So I can't lose at this point, right? Because if I do, I just rebuild it. So did I really lose? I didn't. I just go back to where I was. I go back to the beginning of level 5. And so it's the same thing. You get to level 5. And as you increase levels, it gets increasingly harder. And then there's a point where people decide to quit. They decide to not play the game anymore, which is a choice to stay at that level. It's always a choice. No choice is a choice. So you choose to stay at that level. And so then again, as you can die as many times, you can fail, die as fail, right? Don't get it twisted. So every time you fail, you get to restart the level and you get to master it and learn the patterns and get the new skills and get the new knowledge necessary to go to that next level. So every time something hard is presented to you as a challenge or as an obstacle, whatever it may be, is just an opportunity for you to learn whatever needs to happen for you to conquer it. And then once you conquer it, you move ahead. And if you fail, who cares? You just went back to being level 5. You didn't go back to level 1. And you just get to redo it as many times as needed for you to succeed. After there's a game I was playing, I think it's like Zelda, when I was younger. And I did the level maybe like 50 different times. I was like, man, I'm going to conquer this. I'm not going to let this whatever person that I was fighting with like win. I'm going to conquer this thing. And I did, right? And you continue to move forward. So that's personally how I perceive life. There's different levels you can go to. You can consciously choose to stay at a certain level because you're like, I'm good here. Or you can stay at a level because you choose to not play anymore because you don't want to, out of procrastination, laziness, whatever it may be. But if you really ask people what they want out of life, everyone wants more for themselves out of life. But at the end of the day, they either chose to stop playing the game because that level was too hard to conquer, and then they can't conquer it. And this game is played in every area. It's played in your relationship. The degree to which you can have an amazing relationship can be with your family, it can be with your finances, it can be with your career, it can be with your health, and it can be with your fitness, right? There's no limits as to how fit you can become. There's James Lawrence, Iron Cowboy, did the documentary he did is 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50 different states. So literally started in a state, did a full Ironman, jumped in an RV, drove to the next state, did another Ironman for 50 days in a row. And then he did another one where he did 100 Ironmans in 100 days. So one Ironman every day for 100 days. There's Ross Edgley, who swam, the first human to swim around the UK, all of UK. So he would just like jump on a boat, sleep and eat, go back in the water, jump on a boat, sleep, eat, jump in the water. It took him, I think, 120 days, right? And then there's like people that do like ultra races, ultra marathon. Those people weren't born to do these things. They train to become these things, which I'm going to record a podcast on this, which is the one principle I live my life by. That's going to be out next week in the next episode. But Those people weren't born for that. They trained for it. They failed. They got an opportunity to become stronger and better and smarter and more efficient. And then they just kept conquering those levels. Same thing with fitness. If you can give me anyone, you give me someone that is 100 pounds overweight, 200 pounds overweight. We can get them to lose all the weight. I can get them to do a complete full Ironman. All I need is for them to be willing to do it and to have enough time. You can't argue with that. If you have enough time to train and the person has a willingness to do it, that's game over. It's going to happen. But a lot of times we give up because it's not happening as fast as we want it to happen. And typically when we want it to happen is like right now, yesterday, right? Not in like 2 years from now when we're done losing the weight and have trained for a full Ironman. People don't think that that's sexy to go 2 years in the future. But listen, you've put yourself in your current position. You have to own that you are where you are because of decisions that you've made in your life. And you can tell me that you've had really bad events happen to you in your life. And I have. My ex-partner got diagnosed with cancer and she passed away, right? I think I've been dealt some pretty shitty cards too. But guess what? There's many different paths I could have chosen. I could have started drinking and started taking drugs. I could have given up on life. There's many things I could have done. But I didn't because I choose how I respond to these events. That is your power. How are you going to respond to the current cards that you're being dealt? We always complain that we want different cards, but you can't. You have the cards that you have. How do you make the best play out of the cards that you have in your hand right now? That is your power, right? So going back to the original point of when you change the way that you look at something, the thing that you look at changes. That's purely mindset. That's purely a shift in perspective, and that's available to all of us. It's whether you want to have a mentality of a learner or a victim, right? No one is deeply ingrained that they're going to be victims for the rest of their life. And you probably know some people around you that played a victim card. You also probably know around you people that played the victim card, got tired of it, and then became leaders and learners, right? And completely changed it around. It's not set in stone. You have the ability to change it. So if you're listening to this, I encourage you to shift how you look at the obstacles and the challenges that are in your life right now, because it is fully in your power to deal with them differently. And if you see them in the concept of the video game, well, again, there's no way for you to fail. The only way you fail is if you stop playing the game, right? Then you just, honestly, you don't fail, you just stay at that level ultimately, right? Because you can't revert back to the lower levels. So again, that is a personal choice. So if you want more out of life, you want to level up your finances, your career, your relationship, your health, your body, that's what I'm passionate about. That's why this podcast exists. That's why all the content I put out exists. And so I've opened up working with a few select people for peak performance coaching, right? So I want to help a few select people go to the next level in their life. And so if you're interested in that, there's a link down below, just maximsigouin.com, where you can book your free breakthrough coaching call with me. And we can have a conversation as to what you want to happen. What are the areas that you want to improve your life? What are the areas that you want to level up in your life? Again, I can only work with about 5 people at a time. I have a few members from the Fit Vegan that are on that package. I only have a few select spots. So if you're interested in that, the link is down below and will help you level up. I want to help you increase your income. I want to help you handle your finances, improve your relationship, improve your health, improve your fitness, improve all those areas of your life so you can ultimately experience what it's like to live life to the fullest. I'll say massive thank you for listening to this episode today. Stay tuned for the next episode because I'm going to go and share the number one principle that I live my life by that's allowed me to have all this success. I'll say this rapidly. It's been over 20 years at it, but that's exponentially increased over the past few years. So hope you have an awesome day and thank you for listening.